Well, today I'm with Patrick O'Halloran from City Power, where he's Chief Engineer, and Patrick is the author of 3 articles, 2 of which have been published already in February and March 2017, but there's another one coming out in April 2017 as well. The article in front of me is the evolution of MV power cables and accessories up to 36 kV. Patrick, I mean, City of Johannesburg, City Power, one of the largest utility managers in the country. Cables obviously a critical component.
Big time, really important. Yeah.
And therefore, what is it that we need to understand about cables, in particular the evolution of cables, perhaps over the last number of decades?
Well, I try and explain it to a lot of people. A cable is like a vein in your body, you know. So you need to have it to supply blood to your body, to organs. So the same with our cables. That's how electricity gets to our customers. And over the time, the evolution, you know, it's been around for over 100 years now, electricity. And yeah, cables are really key to delivering the power to customers. We need to obviously eliminate the faults, and that's one of our biggest challenges.
Right.
You know, copper theft is a big challenge.
Well, we'll come back to copper. We'll come back to copper theft in a moment, because the one interesting thing about cables to me is that whereas if you're an industry or a user of electricity, you would know that there's a feed, typically cable feeding your factory. But most people driving around the city of Johannesburg, which is, of course, incorporates a number of areas, wouldn't necessarily be aware of even where the cables are.
Correct. Absolutely.
And I would believe that most of your energy is reticulated using cables as opposed to overhead lines.
Absolutely right. So certainly in the municipality environments, so we're not as lucky as Eskom. So they have a
That's right. You don't want to see it because it upsets people. Now, one of the big things about cables over the last, say, couple of decades and tracing the evolution, I mean, from the perspective of City Power, the improvement in reliability, the need to maintain old cable, what are the big challenges that you face?
It's a very good question. So our biggest challenge that we have as City Power, and I think as most utilities, is that we have a loss of skills. So we use a lot of old, and not only got it old, but old technologies like paper cables. So the introduction of new technologies like XLP cables, and obviously the bad experiences we had previously with the the previous PEX cables, as I refer to it, where we have water trees.
In fact, PEX got a bad reputation in South Africa back a while back. That's right.
Even though all utilities are run on XLP cables, they're high voltage networks, people are scared of them. So one of the big challenges is just moving people from paper cable to XLP cable. A lot of the switchgear is designed for XLP cable, single cores. And we're still stuck with the 3-core cable, and it makes really tricky terminating.
That's right. So I imagine that one of the things we'll talk about in the future, but not today, would be how do we terminate and how do we get that right. But I'm interested in the skills deficit, because that must be not just a City Power issue, but clearly a national issue, and maybe even a subcontinental issue.
Well, it definitely is. It definitely is, and there's really the training courses that exist are that really don't add any benefit to the industry.
So there's opportunity out there in that space.
Huge opportunity. And I think a lot of the utilities have their own training programs, and we really just need to develop these skills. So, and that's the understanding. It's like, you know, a jointer needs to really understand what he's doing, not take chances.
Exactly, that's right. If you don't get that right, not only would there be lack of reliability, but there could also be death and injury as a consequence of that. So these are very, very important issues. The interesting thing for me, of course, is that because these cables are out of sight and out of mind, they serve an incredibly important role. And therefore, there is a desperate need to make sure that we understand the technologies and can maintain those technologies.
Correct, Now, we also want to achieve more than 30 years life, 40 years life.
What do you expect? I mean, what do you expect nowadays from your cable?
Sure. Some cables have lasted 100 years. So people now say 30 years, but quite a lot of them only last 2 weeks sometimes. So that's really
let's get back to the sort of the more thorny issue of cables that may not even last 24 hours. And I think we talk about overnight corrosion, where copper seems to vanish overnight. Right, The interesting thing is cables are out of sight and out of mind, but it seems that cable thieves are pretty good at finding them and getting them out the ground.
Very good, It's like gold diggers, copper's like gold to a lot of people, and
that's right.
But so sometimes you have to wonder how they know they're there. So I think that's the secret as well. That's a big challenge. But copper theft is the biggest challenge. So we'll discuss it as we go. But alternative conductors we're looking at.
So what do those include? What are you guys working with?
We've now moved away from copper as much as possible. It's not practical everywhere, the smaller sizes. So we're using aluminium, and now we're looking at new technologies of copper-clad aluminium. Something developed in America. We use it in telecoms, but not in power yet. And it's some quite exciting technology. So it's worth nothing. So if they steal it, they can You can sell it for no value. There's no scrap value, and it's quite exciting. So the best of both worlds as well.
But isn't
Copper
that,
clad.
that's right, that's actually very interesting
Yeah.
because it gives you some benefits, but isn't that
No.
good engineering? It's how do you stay ahead of the
Yeah.
challenges that you face?
Correct.
So I think this is actually very, very smart.
Exciting now.
Patrick, I really enjoyed this article and I think we've commented on that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to part 2 and part 3
Excellent. Yeah.
and look forward to catching up with you again.
Thanks very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Awesome.